Hello, I'm Tommy Smith III. Back in the 80s, we called it, I was a rock concert photographer. Living in Minneapolis, Minnesota, there's one famous bar. It's called First Avenue. I brought down my personal scrapbook of the 80s to 90s shows I personally photographed down there. We'll start you off with Billy Idol. I got to meet him and hang out with him that night. The wedding tour, killer promo shots.
You can push up the camera if you want.
Okay, next we'll do the Ramones, another punk rock legend. We Want the Airwaves. I got to see them 3 times down there. Also, last year they did a book called Minnesota's Main Room, A History of First Avenue Bar. The one band I got 2 pictures of, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. These are the actual pictures in the book where I told the publisher, look at young and no tattoos. So in the book it says young and mostly tattoo free. That's the Red Hot Chili Peppers on a Freaky Styling tour. Another one from the book. That book has Prince pictures in it. My biography about Prince pictures will be in Neil Carlin's book out this October with St. Martin's Press. That's where you can see some of my Prince stuff. But Sheila E., I got all the side Prince stuff in that book. That shot of her on the drums is the one that's actually in the book. Then I know why the world loves Minneapolis, right? The first of the 9 times I got to photograph Prince was the Secret Show for Controversy. Thank you for your time. I'm Rock and Roll Tommy. I'll be doing some stories. You look for his website. In the next month or 2, I'll be doing all my Prince stories. Couple hundred photos, 10-star stuff. The world is a strange place right now. Scary. But I'll fix it. We are the world. Let's do it. All of my purple life.
Thank you, Tommy.
Hi, I'm Rock and Roll Tommy, and saying good night. Old guys got to sleep once in a while. Here's another one of my samples work. Billy Idol that night on the Hot and City EP tour. The band wanted to smoke weed. They had plenty of cocaine at the bar, plenty of heroin. All the band wanted to smoke weed. The girls I knew that were going to go party with them, they hooked me up with them. You could smell me come up in the elevator. So all night long, I got to party with Billy Idol's whole band. He's a very soft-spoken guy, very opposite of the honest persona. But 2 things he consistently asked me all night was, one is, did you get great pictures of me? The other one was, tell me about this local musician named Prince. See you soon. I'll have a lot more Prince stories in the land of 10,000 lakes.
All right, Tommy Smith III is up next.
Hello, is the world ready for this? Rock and Roll Tommy's flashbacks. They called it punk rock. It was Jay's Longhorn. I was a young, horny kid with the camera. Her name was Wendy Williams. The band was the Plasmatics. In the punk rock heyday, I had like dirty adult visions from looking at too many Playboy magazine or penthouses. She was the rock star that let me exercise these demons. As I got to photograph her over and over again, I learned her moves, her little subtle moves, the shake of the hips, the right amount of shaving cream over her bosoms. I was in love. What can I say? Some might call it lust. As her career transformed, she became more of a metal priestess. And this is when Kiss got a hold of her and they did some of her recordings. As you can tell, these are definitely X-rated style rock and roll photographs. Here's a couple. I am working on a big deal with some publishers on my Prince stories. Soon, next few weeks, I'll be doing them Prince stories and all my photographs. Please stay tuned, and you will have the best of times with Rock and Roll Tommy.
Want to show them some other ones?
Nah, that's enough.
All right, thank you, Tommy.
Hello, this is Zachary Newell, Menace-in-Chief of Diaphora Incorporated. I'm here with Ethan Robert Ray, lead singer of Pirate and author of the short story collection So In Never, So In Dusk. Ethan, You're interviewing someone for us today?
Yeah, today we're sitting here with Rock and Roll Tommy. Tommy Smith III. He's a concert photographer. He's done a lot of work with some big acts. He did Prince. He did the Stones, the Clash. Lots of good stuff.
Several times.
Several
Many
times. Yeah. So we're just going to go right into it here. So tell me, what made you want to get into photography?
Well, back in high school, I actually had a job in the restaurant business, and it saved me tip money. And I bought a used camera from someone in high school. I literally self-taught myself a trade. I can still remember the ones I missed, like Bob Seger or Bruce Springsteen. But slowly learning my trade. As I got into the late 70s, I began to develop my craft. A lifetime of photography followed, but I still remember the beginning days of it. And when I started getting like some Allman Brothers pictures back, Cheap Trick, Nazareth, Journey, I was falling in love with the work I was doing, and I felt it was as good as anyone else out there. So I thought maybe I could make this my life. Decades later, who knows? I was right.
Yeah. What were some of your first favorite songs that formed your love of music?
Well, obviously, I think everyone who loves music goes back to your teenage years. For me, it was when the Beatles broke up and John, Paul, George, and Ringo had 4 different acts, and it was my teenage hormones coming through for sure.
Yeah.
And still, those performers and those songs still do it to no man to this day.
Right.
But it helped form the music that I would love down the road.
Right, cool. Where did you get your first camera?
My first camera I actually bought from a friend in high school for, I think he sold it to me like $50. I had like tickets for about 10 concerts, and about 8 of them I screwed up, but slowly getting better.
Yeah.
And then transformation happened. Then I started getting shots. I was still going to shows.
Yeah.
Even in high school, I was going 2-3 times a week to shows.
Yeah.
They were easily affordable, and they were fun, and I was meeting new friends. So, but once it clicked, then things really went fast.
Cool. I know you mentioned a little bit about this already, but who were some of your first favorite bands?
Oh, well, really, I mentioned some earlier, but the ones I adore were like Ian Hunter, because I love the glitter rock era. That was second row at the old Northrop little college auditorium. The Clash, when they first came around, on the Pearl Harbor tour, actually got to be backstage, meet them in the warm-up acts, and that was special. They also had one called M80. It was a punk rock marathon that performed in the cities. It was a one-of-a-kind event, but like Diva was the headliner. But those were some of the more funner ones that I saw in the beginning.
Cool. What did your parents think about your photography at first and then later on?
Well, at first, they figured, why is he doing his homework anymore? Why is he going to concerts all the time? But they slowly began to realize that this was my love, and the restaurant business really helped purport that. That's really what they wanted me to do. But I slowly became Rock and Roll Tommy. To I am to this day 24/7. And those were some of the best days of my life, and anyone who had a part of my life would say those were the best days of their lives. See your favorite musical heroes right up front. It's not such a bad thing.
What do you like about color prints versus black and white prints?
That's the $1 million question right there. My man Ethan could work for 60 minutes. Black and white is something my mother always loved. It really has a haunting-like feel to it, whether it's the old R&B stars like Tina Turner or James Brown, or like some of punk rock or Pearl Harbor and Explosions or the Pistons. It really packs a punch. I photographed 4 Rolling Stones tours in black and white, 2 Bowie tours in black and white, Blondie in black and white. But some performers like a Prince or Madonna, you want the color film. You really want the cool look. But I will always do to my mother's advice. I always will. When she got me really in black and white, I remember every show I used to sneak a roll in of each kind of film, 1 color and 1 black and white. Because later in life, she taught me to hand paint my photographs, which I still do this day, by starting out in the black and white prints, and then take watercolors or pastels and turn them into different creations.
What makes it worth it getting up close to the stage and the music?
That was a whole nother trick. Thank God for my mother. She worked at the department store that actually sold the tickets. So in those days, they weren't spit out of a machine. They were pre-printed and shuffled amongst the record stores. I knew what store had what seats. So I basically had front row dead center for any concert I wanted to see for 6 to 8 years. Lifetime in my life.
Do you have any advice for young or new concert photographers?
You know, that's a great question also. I notice nowadays when the old guys still slings around the camera goes to show, they'll do it on their phones or with digital cameras. If you want to be someone like how I started out to be and became, do it different than everyone else. Buy an old school camera like what I learned and teach yourself, and it's much more satisfying in the long run than just pointing a point and shoot camera on your phone and going click. Wow, I'm great. It's not. There's more to it than that.
Right. Do you have any tricks of the trade to get the best shots, and what are some of your favorite stage angles?
Well, I used to crouch down. When my mother was alive, we watched these things called fashion shows. I noticed when the model was strut down the runway, the photographers always leaned down to look up to their idols. As a musical guy sneaking my camera in, I like to look up to my idols, and also security guards couldn't see me if I'm really crouched down low with my camera. So it worked in both ways. Even though I was tall, I knew how to crouch good.
Cool. How do you work with stage lighting? How does that affect the shots that you take? Stage lighting.
Oh, stage light. The more you fool around with it, the more you love it. I still, to this day, if I'm really up close at a concert, I love to chase the reflections. It's easy to photograph a color light on a performer, but it's different to chase the reflections of it, so-called shadows of it. You get much more honey look and some great background filler and maybe some shadow lighting that are really cool.
Cool. Do you think concert photography has changed? What has changed and what has remained the same?
Oh, for sure, definitely the digital killed people like me left and right. But there still are some people that were from my era and before that really shot that. I feel that most of them went to digital. I feel I'm still one of the only true old school guys left that use those old school cameras, because nowadays everybody wants to see the pictures right away. I still bring them to the store, give them develop, go back to days later and see the pictures I created. Nobody can take that love from me, nor would I want them to.
And my last question for you, last but not least, what were some of the hardest venues to get into, and do you have any stories about trying to get into the show?
Well, usually the theaters downtown Minneapolis were like murder to sneak your camera in there. And those theaters are a little smaller, so you got less room to run around in an arena or a stadium like that, for instance. But any venue, if the band says no cameras, you're going to have trouble getting in. But that's what it's best at. I go to the shows with my friends. When I shoot a roll of film, I give it to one friend. Then I pay my second roll of film, which another friend had on me. So if I ever got caught, all they got was what was in the camera. They never got the film I shot, and they never got the film I was about to shoot. So we had a good little system down place. And that helped me create the memories I'm doing today. Thank you for your time. We'll see you soon. Maybe I'll tell some more Prince stories, David Bowie, Rolling Stones, Madonna, Miss Tina Turner. I got them all. Thank you for your time. Take care in this crazy world, but I'm here to make it better.
Aw, thanks, Tommy.
Okay?
Hey, wait, one sec. I got one more question. Okay?
Sure.
All right, thank you so much, Ethan, but I got one more question.
Encore question from my friend Zach.
All right. Hey, Tommy, how would you feel about becoming the lead concert photographer for Diaphora Records?
Well, I'd be loved to and honored to. Like I said, one of the greatest loves of my life is bringing a camera to any band and taking pictures and go get that film developed and get it done and look at the pictures. That's one of the greatest loves I've ever had in my life. I'd be honored to do it.
Well, cheers, man. I look forward to helping you do what you love.
All right. Very good.
Take care, everybody. This has been Rock and Roll Tommy. I hope that you all look forward to hearing more of his shenanigans. Later.